Hello YouTube, welcome back. In today's video, we'll be covering the top 5 tips for veterans that are medics and corpsmen. If you like these videos or would like to see more, or you have opinions on what I should film next, please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe below. My name is Michael. I'm a 10-year veteran. I served 3 years in the Army, 7 years in the Navy, but more importantly for this video, I covered the 3 years in the Army in my last video. In the last 7, I became a hospital corpsman and a respiratory therapist. Tip number 1, if you're a veteran and you're thinking about a career in medicine or you're currently still in the military, rule number 1 is to identify your path. Do you want to be a careerist and plan on doing 20 years and reaching retirement? Or do you plan on using the military as a stepping stone to become a physician assistant, allied health professional, or physician? Rule number 2, determine your path based off how many credits you have already completed in college. For me, this answer was simple. I only had a few remedial courses that I completed prior to joining the military. Therefore, I had an undergraduate degree I needed to obtain, I needed prerequisites for PA school, and I needed to take a couple more remedial classes that allowed me to transition into some of the classes that were required for PA school. Tip number 3. Get a degree, any degree. Do keep in mind that every program has a different set of prerequisites. If you look on the CASPA or the Central Application Service for Physician Assistants, you can look up all the schools, click on their link, and find out their specific prerequisites. A lot of kids think that they need to get a pre-medical degree or a biology degree in order to be successful to be a PA applicant. But this is far from the truth. I received a respiratory care degree. Others receive legal degrees, communications degrees, law degrees, and etc. But for you, pick a degree that interests you because this will greatly impact your GPA. If you don't care about a subject, it will be very hard to concentrate and maintain a suitable GPA to get into PA school. Also, if you join one of the programs that I'll talk about in the next step, a lot of your degree will be knocked out, so you'll be able to transition a lot smoothly into a PA program for a bachelor. There is one caveat to receiving a pre-medical or a biology degree. With a biology or pre-medical degree, sometimes marrying the GI Bill's requirements for a school can be difficult. When you go to school in your GI Bill, you have to establish what they call a degree plan. If you have a degree plan in basket weaving and you need to take anatomy and physiology, the government in their eyes are going to see that you're just randomly taking classes that's not part of your degree, so you're going to have to pay a lot of out of pocket. So sometimes it may be in your best interest to get a science degree in order to marry the two. Don't fall for the 4-year university trap. Most veterans, we move around a lot, especially if you're still on active duty, and sometimes we PCS in the middle of our schooling. It is advantageous for us to go to community colleges instead of taking all of the work required to get into a 4-year institution just to move in a year or two. There are very few PA schools who deny students based on the fact that they went to a community college. And also, some of these schools can get expensive and your TA only covers so much, or tuition assistance. So it's best to seek all these courses as long as they're regionally accredited from a community college, and you'll do just fine. Another way to obtain your credits is to get into an advanced school. Now this may vary on the title based on what service you're in, but for the Navy it's called a C school. As I explained in my previous video, C school was one of the most important things I did in my career. I decided to go to the respiratory therapy program. This program allowed me to get an associate's degree from Thomas Edison State College. In the military, respiratory therapy school is only 8 months. Traditionally, respiratory therapy school in the civilian world, RT school can range anywhere from 2 to 4 years. I was able to receive my respiratory care degree in 8 months. I received all of my board certifications free through the Navy Cool Credentialing Program, my certified respiratory therapy exam, my registered respiratory therapy exam, and I also received my neonatal pediatric specialty through the Navy as well. After receiving my registry in respiratory therapy, I found out about the program at Kansas University Medical Center, which allowed me to complete 9 more classes in order to get my bachelor's degree. I took about 1 or 2 classes at a time, so it took a little bit longer than anticipated. But realistically, if you're a hard charger, if you complete the 8-month program in inter-service respiratory therapy and you go on to do the Kansas University Medical Center and take a higher class load, you can receive a bachelor's degree in as little as 2.5 years. There are multiple specialties that you can get into, such as x-ray tech, lab tech, respiratory therapy, cardiovascular technologist, and many others. Most of these programs culminate in a certification or college credits that you can transition into becoming a physician assistant student. In addition to gaining credits in C schools, you'll build relationships with physicians, nurses, and other allied health professionals. You'll gain critical care exposure depending on the specialty that you choose. And you've already knocked out your healthcare experience as a corpsman. Another great way to get into PA school is through the Navy's Independent Duty Corpsman program. Most of your classes required for PA school are satisfied by going through the IDC route. The only exception are your chemistry. When it comes to the IPAP program, or the Inter-Service Physician Assistant program, these students can matriculate into a program with no degree at all, a few credits, earn a bachelor's in their first phase, and earn a master's degree in their second phase. My colleague HM2 Zamora will cover more in the next video, where we get together and talk about the Inter-Service Physician Assistant program. So as I've already touched on the video so far, there are multiple ways that you can get this PA school thing paid for. Number one, we covered, you can go to a specialty school and receive your associate's or bachelor's degree. You can utilize your GI Bill with 36 months. If you're entitled to voc rehab, you can go through that chapter and receive your supplies and even receive $1,000 for a laptop. You can go through the VA Health Profession Scholarship Program, where if you sign up to work for the VA for 2 years after you graduate, they'll pay you a stipend and they'll pay your tuition. You can use tuition assistance while you're in the military, and you can use the Navy Cool program, a program that pays for your certifications. Number 5, now that you have all of your stuff out of the way as far as education, your money's in line, and you're ready to do this physician assistant thing, now it's time to apply to the Central Application Service for Physician Assistants. In here, you'll be able to apply to all schools all at one time instead of picking one school one by one. It is a headache, however. If you've ever received an F and then go on to get an A, they no longer take grade replacement. So if you get an F and you come back and get an A, you're going to get a C. Which in the PA realm and any degree program where your grades are extremely important, C's are almost like F's. But again, they're not impossible to defeat. So in the next video, we'll cover the Central Application Service for Physician Assistant students. If you have any comments, please feel free to have your voices heard at the below of the video. And please hit that like button or subscribe video and stay tuned for the next videos next week.